Yes, good afternoon, all of you. I think we're discussing moral thinkers, and we have finished till virtue ethics, huh? Rights ethics also, environmental ethics also. Okay. Yes, we are discussing environmental ethics. Environmental ethics is when you apply the values of ecological values in carrying out the decision making as well as taking action, judgment of action. So that is an environmental ethics. Under this, we have seen the concept of sustainable development. Sustainable development. The definition of sustainable development is that meeting the needs of present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their respective need. Okay, so that's about the Again, we have seen the principle of Gandhi. Okay, that is earth has sufficient for the need of man, but not for greed of man. So greed and need principle. And again, you should remember that development, it is not anti-development. So it only means that there should be a development which is environmentally friendly or environmentally benign. So need, if we are guided by the principle of need, then it leads into the optimum or judicious use of resources. Judicious or optimum use of resources. And this will lead into the mindless exploitation. Mindless exploitation will have different consequences. Mindless exploitation, first, it will be not environmentally friendly. Okay, it will be an environmentally hazardous. Pollution and cutting of forests. In fact, it threatens the survival when there is a mindless exploitation. Mindless exploitation, even going beyond the carrying capacity of the earth. Okay. It is a carrying capacity that is there is an inherent capacity in the nature to replenish it back, even when after degradation. But if you are going to an extent challenging this carrying capacity and their nature's own ability to replenish it back, so obviously it is going to threat the survival of the human beings in the long run also. Apart from that, not only just about survival, but also you are compromising the ability of future generation also. If, say, for example, this conventional resources are there, and conventional resources are used in a speed with which that after the industrial revolution that we witness is something like what we call mindless exploitation. So future generation will be left with no resources, and we are compromising their ability also to meet their respective needs. So in this regard, there are different principles. There is also a person, another person, that is Schumacher करके एक person है, उसने लिखा था small is beautiful, okay, with regard to environment. Schumacher, small is beautiful. Small is beautiful is minimalistic approach in life. Like, say for example, in geography, you must have studied this river basin project, okay, joining the rivers or rivers joint project. But such projects are not very environmentally friendly. Okay, there are different pros and cons, and points can be forwarded that yes, there has to be a linking of river because there are certain perennial rivers and there are certain seasonal rivers, and therefore we might bring this surplus water from the perennial rivers to the seasonal rivers. This can be an argument, but the thing is there are a lot many other problems. Problems of how to bring, problems of environment, problems of contamination, basically the problems of changing the natural hydrological unit as a river. Okay, so that course of changing the river water will have an unprecedented consequences on the environment, and therefore the today's philosophy is not about the river joint project. Okay, today's ethical philosophy, or you can say that environment, if you take into consideration, then we go for the decentralized exploitation of the water resources, that is through something like watershed management, Okay, so these are the decentralized level through which, so small is the key. That is a minimalistic approach is the key. That is what the Schumacher, when he says that small is beautiful, that big dams and big highways, big any kind of a big thing is certainly going to have an impact negatively, obviously, on the environment. Now, write one question. Everybody is carrying 2014 paper. 2014 paper, I guess. Well. Anybody, in fact, everybody should have carried. Or I said that I will not allow to sit in the class. 14 paper है क्या? Full paper है या classified है? Full है ना? Okay, full paper. Yes, write one question. Okay, right. Nowadays, there is increasing thrust on. Nowadays, there is increasing thrust on economic development all around the world. There is a thrust on economic development all around the world. At the same time, development all around the world. At the same time, there is also increasing concern. At the same time, there is also increasing concern about environmental degradation caused by development. Environmental degradation caused by development. Caused by development. Right? Many a time, we face the direct conflict between. Many a time, we face direct conflict between developmental activity. We face a conflict between developmental activity and environmental quality. Developmental activity and environmental quality. It is neither feasible to advise. It is neither feasible to stop. It is neither feasible to stop or curtail developmental process. It is neither feasible to stop or curtail developmental process, nor it is advisable to keep degrading the environment. Nor it is advisable to keep degrading the environment as it threatens the very survival. As it threatens the very survival. Discuss some of the feasible strategies. Discuss. क्या हो गया? Discuss some of the feasible strategies which could be adopted to eliminate the conflict, to eliminate this conflict, and which could lead to sustainable development, and which could lead to the sustainable development. Sustainable development. Okay. So read the question once again. It's not very difficult. See, they're saying that there is a concern for the economic development. Okay, that we should develop, and development is important. Vikas is important. Okay. At the same time, there is also a growing concern that environmental degradation is also happening because of development. So both the concerns are there. We want to develop also, but then there is a environmental degradation also. So there is a direct conflict between developmental and environmental quality, it is neither feasible to stop and curtail the development process, nor it is advisable to keep degrading environment. So what we have discussed so far is this philosophy of sustainable development, which takes forward both the things, the development as well as environment, or development and environment can go hand in hand, and sustainable development is a answer. Now the question is asking what are the strategies? Okay, so write this answer in terms of that. How do you address the question address में दो पैराग्राफ आते हैं. First paragraph में you have to theoretically write, yes, there is a today concern for the development because there are inequalities, social inequalities, etc. So we need to develop also, but it's rightly said so that such development which when not taken into account the environmental aspect causes the degradation, and therefore we are supposed to walk hand in hand and carry the both the principle of development and environment together, and then write sustainable development, then write Gandhi, then etc etc. So philosophical part first requires to be written theory, then come to the second part, that in the context of sustainable development we can certainly articulate certain strategies. Okay, so yes, what are the different strategies that you can think of? Okay, one is environment impact assessment. Okay, what else? Social impact assessment also. Yes, take 2 minutes, write the points. Okay, जो भी आपको लगता है लिख लो, फिर we can discuss. Take 2 minutes. Think of contemporary different measures, strategies that are adopted in order to like uphold these principles of environment and development. Yes, let's discuss now, boss. Yes, what are the strategies? See, first, energy ke context mein you can write, because that's the driver of development from conventional sources, transformation from conventional source to the renewable or non-conventional renewable sources of energy. In this context also, like this is because the energy is a driver of development and economy. So the basic thing that is required is renewable sources and the energy. Then with respect to technology, you can think of adoption of green technology. Green technology. Also there is, you can adopt the minimalistic approach and waste management and etc. There are concept of 3 Rs. 3 Rs used in yes, first is reduce, then reuse, recycle. Okay, so such environmental friendly strategy can be used: reduce, reuse, recycle. Plantation also. See, the thing is development, first try and write where both the things will occur together, development as well as environment. Okay, So yes, you can write then agricultural parts में क्या लिख सकते हो? Organic farming, or there is a big concept of the sustainable agriculture. Okay. Sustainable agriculture, that is environmental friendly agriculture. There are various aspects: integrated nutrient management, integrated pest management, scientific management of water resources, drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, watershed management. Okay, there are lot many things here, like saving this chemical fertilizers, and then organic farming. Okay, so the aspects of farming where we are developing, but again, which is a environmentally benign. In fact, agroecological zonation, agroclimatic zonation, that's also like scientific agricultural practices also involves that you need to see that if there is a water scarcity area, you cannot grow for sugarcane there. But in fact, in India, it's the other way around. The drought prone areas are the one where the water intensive crops are grown. So this mismatch is not very environmentally benign and friendly. So we can grow by adopting certain practices. Then, yes, what else? Some government measures, etc. you can think of. Yes, environmental impact assessment and social impact assessment. Before development, you go for environmental impact assessment, and if only all the things are environmental friendly, etc., then only you can approve such project or certain EIA and SI, environment impact assessment, social impact assessment. Social impact is the rehabilitation of tribals and etc. Okay, how it is going to impact the local population there. So that's also the component. Then we have National Green Tribunal also. Okay, that is looked into the problems of development, and because of development, if there are some environmental degradation, so the due process of law is followed in order to uphold the development which is environmental friendly. We have a big project that is National Action Plan on Climate Change. So इसमें तो काफी सारे 8 mission mode project है. It's a umbrella scheme, okay, or a strategy sort of a thing. So इसमें बहुत सारे mission mode project है. Each mission mode project there is a thrust on development and environment. Like solar mission is there, Green India mission is there. What is Green India mission? This was asked in this year's prelims. Green India mission is afforestation drive. Okay. There is National Action Plan on Climate Change. There is a thrust also on the energy efficiency. Okay, if there is housing is formed, then housing should be also environmental friendly. There are different criterias for the housing. Griha करके एक है, तो griha is sort of what you can say that the marking, okay, जैसे ag mark वगैरह रहता है ना, the standard marking. So standard whether it is in a, like making a compulsory that there should be a solar panels, there should be a water conservation, that is rooftop conservation should be there. So these are the some of the things you can think of. Yes, any other? Some concepts you can write in general, principles and different concepts and principles should be adopted. Principles and concepts, okay, such as polluter pay principle, then carbon footprint, okay, ecological footprint, okay, the adoption of green GDP, then you can write at international level also there are certain strategies like yes, United Nation Framework Convention on Climate Change. So इसके अंदर जो क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल है, so international efforts basically. CDM, that is a clean development mechanism. Important you write the CDBR as a strategy or principle in order to like common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capacities. आगे भी है but कैंपा legislation एक separate लिख सकते हो, that through different legislation such as CAMPA, forest rights, etc. So these are the things. So the point is you have to apply this environmental ethics. Is not we are just preaching, or it's not a philosophy, but there are certain feasible strategies wherein environment and development can go hand in hand. So that's a practical aspect. CBDR is common but differentiated responsibility. Okay, common is that everybody, it's a global problem, so it's a everyone's responsibility. That is a common. But differentiated, West is responsible, huh? In fact, this is a principle of equity. Okay, equity, yesterday we have seen that equity with we have adopted for distribution of resources. Here the equity is differentiation, because how one has contributed for the growth of current global warming. So obviously the industrial revolution and the West has been a responsible, or by and large relatively more responsible as compared to the third world countries. So they should expect to bring more this principle. Although in recent time it has been seen that these principles are getting diluted. This Paris conference, in Paris conference, it has happened that CBDR and this thing is getting diluted. Otherwise, you will learn these topics जब आपका environment and geography issues हो जाएंगे. So हो गया है environment. ओके सो अच्छा, आपका क्लास काफ़ी पहले चालू हुआ था. क्या क्या सब कुछ हो गया है, क्या रह गया? एनवायरनमेंट. अच्छा ठीक है. एनीवेज सो अरे ठीक है यार, क्या जो भी हुआ होगा देख लो बस तुम अब यहाँ पे. यस, एनी अदर you can think of? Okay, these are the some of the, in fact, biopiracy and those issues are also there, like environmental friendly, but this much if you know that you can incorporate. See, the point of here is, if you focus on only environment, the question is not talking about, like many would say that national park and biodiversity and this yes, this biodiversity के से related आप लिख सकते हो, but then you need to write the commercial component and developmental component, how it can be environmentally benign and can be more ethical. But otherwise, that is not very direct, although the environment preservation is there. But this question is talking environment and development, how you can develop without degrading the environment. So this, if you are writing only the national parks preservation or protected area जिसको बोला जाता है, तो that's a completely environment specific. Although if you stretch the analogy too much, that if the environment is there, then obviously the development will happen, etc. It will happen, it's survival. But first, right, you can also write through legislation, that is CSR is made compulsory, so that more strategy can be adopted, that the companies should work, okay, the CSR activities in the interest of yes, in the larger public, sorry, in the environmental interest, okay. Campa Act, yes, Campa, forest rights, okay. So all environmental related legislation also you can bring in. Have you visited any time in Indian Habitat Center in Delhi? There you will find that what is it like having a good architecture plus what is an environmental friendly architecture. So such sort of architecture which you bring also, but still there is a preservation of environment or environmental friendly also. So that's the aspect of environmental ethics. Now let's move on to the next. Next you can write the feminine ethics. Right, feminine ethics. Yes, what is your understanding of feminine ethics? Okay. Gender equality.
concepts that we follow right now, usually they are propounded with a masculine understanding of the world,
Hmm.
which is not good or bad in itself, but it is
Hmm.
only half the understanding of how things could be seen, because if there's a, like he said, that is one aspect. Women
Hmm.
have a different way of looking at things, men have a different way, because they have not been taken into account for a long
So,
time.
what is a masculine attitude, and what is the problem with that? No, no. Huh.
Masculine attitude is they're more
They are more what? Huh? Lost.
no, 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 no. I'm not taking sides of
No,
anything.
not sides,
Let
but
me
there
finish
has to be.
that.
Take 2 minutes. Rest of the people can answer what they. हाँ, आप क्या बता रहे थे? Gender equality, gender empowerment. Okay. What else? Hmm?
So we can say whenever around the world also in legislations or in companies, the top tier is organized and it is male dominated. So we
Hmm.
are missing a part that the female community can offer and can
Okay, fine.
development of the world and
Hmm. What innovation they can bring?
that when they are there, we'll see that.
Huh? So women participation should be increased. Huh?
Historically, men have been the breadwinners of the
Huh?
family. So the whole
Hmm. No, no. Go ahead. Nobody is judging. You are answering. Why you are getting conscious?
he's
Hmm.
more focused on the economic, because that is how he's been expected for a
Hmm.
very long time. He's more focused on the economic aspects of things,
Hmm.
because he has to earn money.
So women don't
He's
want
not
economic
interested. No, no,
aspects.
no, no, no.
Hmm.
It's because a certain part of the brain is hardwired because of because of
Hmm.
the generation that is now.
Hmm.
Women have always been the ones caring for the family,
Hmm.
food and everything. So that is how their approach is.
Okay, fine.
He's
Hmm.
more relatively more caring, not as caring.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, how many main thing that women don't want money? Have you seen 50 Shades of Grey? Hmm? So then you realize that what is the value of money. Huh? Even in dreams, they want a person should be doing well. Okay. Anyways, that's a lighter part of the class. Yes. See, the thing is, there are two things. Yes, she's right. Whatever the assessment has been made, feminism is different from feminine ethics. Okay, so let's not get confused with this feminism. First, just write feminism क्या क्या है. So जो हम gender equality की बात करते हैं, that is a feminism. Okay, gender equality, right? Feminism. Feminism is an ideology. Feminism is an ideology which focuses on upliftment of upliftment of women's status in society. Okay. The attempt is to bring the attempt is to bring gender equality, gender equality, gender equality by empowering the women. Attempt is to bring gender equality by empowering the women and and by granting different sets of rights to women. Okay, so this is basically to the goal is the gender equality or removing the gender discrimination. This is to remove discrimination. Okay, gender based discrimination from the society. Now, so anything which is pro woman, all the things which is pro woman in order to bring gender equality is a feminism. Okay. Now, historically, you can write like there are three waves of feminism. Historically, there are three waves. In fact, why we are considering three waves? Because we have seen that different sets of rights. Okay, the It's not a one particular aspect or sphere of life where there are issues. In different sphere of life, there are issues. So therefore, this is historic. Three waves. Waves is from history till date, what have been the different developments. So first wave was related with political rights. First wave was related with the political rights of women. So political rights of women, yes, right to vote. See, this point is not too much appreciated in India because when India got independence, okay, both the gender have got the right in one go. Okay, but in many of the developed countries, including the US or any other European countries, also Australia, New Zealand, etc., etc. So the rights to the women were not granted when, for the first time, a franchise right was granted to the male counterpart. So the earlier or you can say that this was the humble beginning of feminism, where they started fighting for their rights. It is also called suffragette movement. Suffragette means right of franchise or right to vote. Today in India, what are the political rights that are discussed in India today? Basically, that is already there. Okay, right to, which is the main issue? That reservation of women in parliament, that is political participation. Okay, reservation of women in parliament. Even in case of Panchayat Raj, there is already a 50% reservation. Okay, 33%, but many of the states have gone beyond the 33 to 50% also. Various. So because we see that 10 to 11% of the reservation that is there, participation is getting reflected in the parliament. So we discussed that political rights, decision-making rights, their representation should increase. Then there is a second way of feminism. This was related with the socio-economic rights. Socio-economic rights. This wave was related with she started participating, but then there was a discrimination with respect to wages. So the fight was equal pay or equal wage for equal work. So historically, what were the issues? Equal wage or equal pay for equal work. And then a good service conditions, in a sense that at a factory, okay, there has to be certain conditions, okay, where women can work. So these socio-economic issues were the part of it. Today also we talk about women's participation in service sector and industries and etc., etc., independence of women, economic independence, social issues में, educational issues, health related issues, okay. Economic में, okay, there are issues with respect to women's participation, okay. Social में, reproductive issues like maternal mortality, okay, related with these things. Education of the women, education of the girl child, that's again are the different types of the feminist or pro-women rights in order to breach the gender discrimination gap. Now, there is a third way of feminism. What is this way? This is a very dangerous way. Radical way, but what is it? Yes, it is called radical way of feminism. Men should be? Kya? Man should be? Killed. Some say that. That is ultra feminist, radical feminist, you can say that. Yes, that's there. That's inherent. Inherent means there are radical feminists. I'll explain that. It has a range. Okay, the extreme range also, they don't want to see men. Okay, that's what is saying. That is a ultra, you can say that. But थोड़े से और बताइए. Yes.
That the root of the cause of it is men, and all institutions they are held by that are held by men, and that is perpetuating this.
Discrimination. Yes. See, basically they say that जो gender equality का ये scheme है, political rights, economic rights, social rights, nothing is going to change unless and until mentality. There is a patriarchy. They attack on the patriarchy. Okay, so they say that the whole problem is here. That is male mentality or male domination society. And in fact, many of the female scholars also speak about it. In fact, this Ela Bhatt, you know, this self-help group, who is a sort of a mother of silent revolution with regard to self-help group. Help, क्या नाम है उनके उसका? NGO, she runs an NGO. Okay, so वहाँ पे जो है, she says that the women should not, like, these are patriarchal aspects are again important, but there are scholars also who talks about the line of argument of this patriarchy and ill effects of patriarchy. So they say that even if the women political participation is there and work participation is there, at workplace they started feeling discrimination. So problem has not solved by she started participating in a workforce, but it has dislodged from the family, or not only dislodged, it has become a dual problem. That what she faced the discrimination, that she also faces the discrimination at the workplace. Okay, in fact, the cases of sexual harassment at workplace and there are so many different things at workplace. Also, this is a sort of a violence point of view and a conflicting point of view. But even in case of jobs, she faces the discrimination. There is concept called glass ceiling effect, okay, or glass ceiling. What is a glass ceiling? There's a glass ceiling in the discrimination of the women. This was, in fact, yesterday and day before yesterday, a lot of in the news when the Hillary Clinton has lost it. No, that explanation is fine, but see, the thing is, glass ceiling is, there is something which you can, yes, certainly see. The women's participation, now we take a sigh of relief. Okay, now the women is modern, now she's going out, industry may वो कर रही है, but there is a discrimination because her job is related only with the lower category of role, and there is always discrimination with respect to being a CEO and board of directors and etc. So maximum participation is related with the yes, lower strata. Okay, and this is called glass ceiling. She is not able to break the glass ceiling because there is a male domination and this patriarchy. Okay, they do not allow that. Participation is fine, but still going beyond that particular level. One of the reasons why Hillary people wanted, like, this was in fact the 45th president, but still even America has not seen a single women president. So this is also where reflected of Anglo-Saxon sort of a mentality where there is a lot of patriarchy, feudalism, etc. These aspects are there. In fact, they say it would have created the history, and the article says that it would have shattered the biggest glass ceiling, but it has not happened. Okay, so the point of patriarchy is getting reflected in each sphere, even when the rights are granted. So some of the feminist scholars argue, unless and until patriarchy change, okay, substantial change with respect to gender equality is not going to happen. And naturally, now if the patriarchy is the problem, they find the seat of patriarchy is marriages and families. Okay, basically here where there is an institutionalization of patriarchy happens. Like in case of a marriage, if husband and wife is there, so her husband has a dominative role and the wife has a subordinating role. In case of a family also, like son and daughter try to copy their respective father and mother. Father is having a patriarchy, having a large significance in the house. The mother is second in picture. So the role playing and socialization happen in that way. So this mindset, so scholars are telling that these are the sites from where the socialization of patriarchy is happening. So ultra-radical feminists suggest that there should be abolition of marriages and family, because if that is perpetuating the inequality, what is the use of it? And therefore we need to abolish them. So they are against those institutions which perpetuate the patriarchy. That's why they are called radical feminists. They are radically saying that reforms in these institutions are not possible. But yes, their prescription, their diagnosis is not absolutely wrong. We understand that patriarchy is a reason, but there can be a reformist agenda wherein reorientation of socialization can happen and gender equality through the marriages and families also can be cultivated. But again, that's a very long agenda, and therefore some of the women believes that it is not going to happen unless and until we abolish these institutions. In fact, some institution like और थोड़े से अल्ट्रा हो जाते हैं तो they are talking about lesbian marriages. They are talking about the test tube babies have liberated them from the historic responsibility of going through the childbearing. So test tube babies are there, and there are other technologies also that they can survive. Okay, to that extent, to end to his argument that they don't require men. Okay, so that's a long this path. But here the point you should remember is patriarchy as one of the reason for gender discrimination, and therefore in some other way it should go. Okay, so everything what is pro woman should be part of the feminism. Okay, now let's come to the feminine ethics. Let's come to the feminine ethics. Now, yes, feminine ethics is about this attributes of female. Generally, we say that a person is very feminine and somebody is very masculine. So it is about some of the attributes of female that is considered as relatively more common to the female counterpart. Okay, so what are these attributes which defines the feminine, which are called as feminine attributes? Okay, attributes which are feminine. Okay, these attributes are yes, care, love, emotions, feelings. Care, non-violence. What? Brahma. Drama. God. What is that? Male chauvinism lag raha hai hमें तो. Which type of drama you are talking? अरे खुद के एक्सपीरियंस से नहीं बनाना है. ओके, जनरल हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. ओके, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इन जनरल. Okay, so care, love, feeling, these are some of the attributes. Now I will come to these attributes again while discussing this feminine ethics. Now let's understand why this term has came into existence and why we are focusing about these attributes are required. Okay, there was a person called Carol Gilligan. Okay, Carol Gilligan. Now this Carol Gilligan was a secretary to Collenberg करके एक scholar थे. He was carrying out some social survey, and the survey goes like this. There was a dilemmatic situation which was given to some of the boys and girls. Okay. Now what was this situation or the case study? There is a husband and wife. Okay. And on one day, the wife is having a strong headache. Okay. And the headache was very severe that it required immediate attention. But it was not so severe that if it is left untreated, she would die. Okay. It was severe enough that it required immediate attention, but not so severe or not so dangerous that if left untreated, she would die. Now, this was the dilemma for the husband. And the husband was kind. Okay, he went out and visited the chemist shop, and he asked for the medicine. Now he realized that the cost of the medicine is very high for his pocket, and so there are only two options left now: that he can come without the medicine, or second is he can steal the medicine. As the two options available. Now this was the dilemma, whether he should steal the medicine or whether he should come without the medicine. Now this was being asked to the boys and girls, and look how the boy is reacting to it. Okay, and the boy is reacting, saying that, okay, bring the medicine and finish it off. Finish it off with this issue. Okay, so steal the medicine and settle her headache. Okay. Now, this was the reply of the boy, and the girl is replying that no, medicine should not be like taken this way because now look at the way she's answering. Because tomorrow the police will come to our home, okay, and he will catch my husband, and then husband will go in jail. When husband will go in jail, my kids will be deprived of the love of the father. Myself will be deprived of the love of the husband. The neighbor will point the finger on us that person, a thief is there, and therefore the medicine should not be, okay, taken this way. Now this was the reply. Now, what the Kohlenberg has done, Kohlenberg has classified the male response as a first good response, second good response. He has numbered it. Okay. Now, Carol Gilligan was a secretary who was also assisting in this particular survey, and she has observed that all men are, obviously not 100 and 100. So, maximum people are answering this way, and maximum girls are answering on this particular line. So she says, she said that this numbering is not correct, 1 and 2. It is a different response. Okay, it is a different response rather than 1 and 2. Okay, and she said that this is a gender specific response, and she has come up with this term called feminine ethics, that female would think this way and male would think. So, right here, what the Carol Gilligan has said is there are two types of ethics, that is called masculine ethics and feminine ethics. Okay, there are two types of ethics that is based upon the gender response, that is masculine ethics and feminine ethics. So historically, this term has originated this way. We'll come to also discuss what is the contemporary aspect of feminine ethics. So as per the Carol Gilligan, men will take decision, or it will be a rational decision making, whereas this is a emotional component will be high here. Okay, rational component will be high here and emotional component will be high here. Here it is more based upon the law, rules, etc. Here it is obviously based upon the feelings. Now what are these feelings? Feelings of obviously the care, love, etc. This part, care, love, and other consideration. So it's not, so contextual aspects are more important, and here it is more of a black and white. What is a law saying? That's it. Okay, you should take the decision. So she has said that you cannot number, but it is about this particular aspect. And she has said that in some contexts, you need to take into account that we need to show care and love and this thing, because such responses are also important and ethical responses from some point of way. If somebody is thinking, so it is also a good thing to think in that particular manner also. Now, a lot of research and overall, over a period of time, a lot of research has happened in the feminine ethics. In fact, two reasons, broadly reasons have been found. People have said that why feminine ethics and female think this way, because of two broad reasons. One theory says, which is a biological explanation, which is not a very accepted explanation today, okay? But historically, the reason was provided was because of biology of women, that is the uterus, and she goes through the pregnancy, so obviously there is an attachment component during the 9 months, and because of that attachment, okay, she develops the sort of a sense of a care and yes, empathy and love and feelings, and these aspects are attached because of this biological consideration. Second explanation came after, that is a socio-cultural explanation. Okay, and socio-cultural explanation says it's more because of socialization. When the girl child and a boy is born, okay, she is being told, okay, that you should be a little bit more humble, more courteous, more feeling oriented, love, care and etc. ओके हंसना है तो थोड़ा सा कम हंसना है, ऐसे वो नहीं करना है, एग्रेशन नहीं करना है, ये करना नहीं है, वो करना नहीं है. सो दिस इज अबाउट द सोशलाइजेशन एंड स्टीरियोटाइपिंग. और मेल को बोला जाता है कि यू नीड टू बी वेरी एग्रेसिव, वेरी असर्टिव, वेरी पैशनेट, okay, so and so forth. So this is this second explanation, that is a socio-cultural explanation, that in a socio-cultural context women get stereotyped in this way, and socio-cultural context male gets stereotyped in this way, and therefore it has been said that it is more of a construct, okay, social construct rather than the natural aspect of it. Now, since we have said that feminine ethics is required and in certain situations such things are required, and it is a product of socialization, then it is in contemporary times it is been argued why the male counterpart should also not have this aspect, okay, of care, love, emotions, commitment, okay, in every walk of life, or when it is required to show such kind of feelings and attributes. So today it has been accepted that first this is required by both the genders, and second is because it is a part of socialization, so through the socialization both the genders can be oriented in this direction, wherein you can give importance to love, care, emotion, feeling, and etc. So today the term is replaced by more gender neutral term. Today it is called as care ethics. Okay, so this is a more gender neutral, but still you will find feminine ethics as in many of the textbook, because the historically and the origin of the world was through the feminine ethics. So it only means that the attributes that we used to consider, or we generally consider relatively more common with the female, okay, those attributes required to be demonstrated by or should be held by both the genders, and therefore it is now called as care ethics. So simply putting the care ethics in perspective in contemporary time is there are issues with regard to care, love, emotion, commitment, and these things which should be gender neutral and should be developed by both the component. Now, in fact, there have been an argument in favor of this care ethics and feminine ethics. In fact, they have said that during the First World War and Second World War, when the decisions of war were taken, the women were never invited to the decision, and most of the times this decision were taken by the male counterpart. So because of this aggressive nature of male, so this has led into the conflict, and conflict has snowballed into the two great world wars. So bringing this feminine ethics or the care ethics, they argue that the course of the history would have been rather different if this component would have been there, or the female would have been party to the decision making. In fact, the decisions were taken by the male counterpart, and women's were at the receiving end, because there were issues of war widows, okay, during the time of World War. अगर आपने हॉलीवुड मूवी देखी है वर्ल्ड वॉर सेकेंड फर्स्ट के इश्यूज के ऊपर, सो वॉर विडोज करके एक बहुत बड़ा सोशल क्राइसिस हो गया था. देयर वाज अ सोशल क्राइसिस, okay, because so many soldiers and this aggressive nature of the war, so women were at receiving end. In fact, it is also been related to the environmental ethics also, that environmental degradation has happened because there was a lack of this care ethics, okay, because males, this aggressive nature, okay, that lead into the again the exploitation and mindless exploitation of the environmental resources. So in this context, to put in perspective, to have a less conflict and more this care component, okay, we discuss care ethics as a one of the components. So the scholar here is obviously the Carol Gilligan, but if the question is asked feminine ethics and masculine ethics and Carol Gilligan, so you have to write that. Otherwise you can simply write the care ethics is to show the care, love, affection, depending upon the different circumstances, okay, in order to resolve the conflict. Is it fine? Okay. So that is about the feminine ethics and care ethics. In fact, that was the last point for our Western philosophers. There is one more thing, that is, in fact, we have discussed conscience as a source of ethics. जब हम morality कर रहे थे तब बताया था कि conscience as a source of ethics. What is conscience as a source of ethics? What is conscience? Internal faculty or internal ability to judge between right and wrong. Okay, it's not that the external component is telling you. And that is also one of the theme of ethics or source of ethics. Conscience as a source of ethics. और क्या बताया था? That is it. Some examples I have mentioned. What is crisis of conscience? किया था या नहीं किया था? हाँ. There some examples also I have given with regard to the conflict. See, conscience as a source of ethics is uh, why you are moral and ethical is because of your own judgment. There is no external pressure or sort of thing on you. It is your own ability to distinguish between right and wrong, and the source of ethics lies inside you. Okay, that is a conscience. Conscience, that is a higher self. Okay, your higher self is guiding you to work in the interest of higher self is guiding you to do the good things in life. So that is the important aspect. In fact, I have given the example of this Gandhi has questioned this salt satyagraha, okay, on the basis of conscience as a source of ethics, okay, because it's the law was wrong, okay. In fact, the law was saying that there should not be and construction or preparation of the salt by the local man. So this was an ethical principle that particular point of time. But on the basis of conscience, he has challenged the majority. अभी ये पता चला मार्टिन लूथर किंग का एक एग्जाम्पल दिया था हेनरी डेविड थोरू बताया था हेनरी डेविड थोरू व्हाट ही हैज सेड हाँ दैट इज सिविल डिसोबीडियंस that he will not pay the tax to the America because America's taxpayers' money is used for the war. And at his level, conscience is dictating him that war is wrong thing. Therefore, he will not pay the tax. Rajaram Mohan Rai, conscience is a source of ethics. When the Sati Pratha was there, his conscience has not allowed him that he should approve and endorse the practice of sati. So he has questioned the practice of sati on the basis of his conscience. Okay, not only it is always challenging the majority. Sometimes you can be in sync with what the society wants, and still there is a conscience as a source. Say, for example, manual scavenging. Okay, now law also says manual scavenging is illegitimate, but it is not because law says manual scavenging is illegitimate, therefore you don't approve of, but your conscience also say that it is a wrong thing to do. Are you understanding? It should not be taken always as a, it should challenge the law, it should challenge the majority. It only means that you are not you are not doing something or thinking something because it is imposed on you. You believe in something. So it can run complementary to different issues like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. You think that it is by your conscience, it is important that that is Swachhata and this cleanliness is important thing. Therefore, you follow, not essentially because there is a law or there are government rules and regulations on it. So have you understood? So conscience as a source of ethics is also one important dimension. Okay, not because anybody is telling, but your ability of making judgment right and wrong is helping you to take the decision. So this is one of the yet dimensions. I have discussed, in fact, all these things. Okay, when I was discussing about morality and ethics and conflict. But remember, in this chapter also, inner dimensions of ethics, one dimension is this. Okay. Now, this is it about the Western scholars. Now, we are going to discuss the Indian moral philosophies. So, if you have any doubt with regard to whatever has been discussed so far, please ask. Otherwise, we can move to the Indian moral philosophies. See, we have taken different dimensions, so you need to fit, if at all, you are reading something additional also. So, you can fit different scholar in different dimensions. So that's the idea there. So now we are starting with Indian moral philosophy. Indian moral philosophy and thinkers. Indian moral philosophy or thinkers. So we are why I have written this philosophy, because some of the religious philosophies also we have to study here. Okay, religious moral philosophy. Religious moral philosophy. Then we're going to discuss the thinkers also. Some prominent one we are going to take. Obviously, the Ambedkar is one. Mahatma Gandhi. Then some other groups, that is a social reformers. Is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. So the list is big. So we'll see the themes of social reform. So you can fit different scholars there. Other scholars with spiritual and universal appeal. Yes, Ravindranath Tagore. Swami Vivekananda. Arvind Ghosh. Dayanand Saraswati has universal appeal. DAV क्या थे? Revivalist थे. Okay, revivalist in a sense. In fact, that was during the time of social reforms. There were certain revivalists. Okay, more conservative elements were there. In case of this Dayanand Saraswati का कौन सा Arya Samaj. Okay, Arya Samaj was more a revivalist. Shuddhi movement. Back to Vedas, Mohan Roy. Okay, but उनका भी था obviously, but the नहीं revivalist में ये है कि it's only the Hindu and this thing. Okay, ours is the supreme. घर वापसी करनी है, शुद्धि मूवमेंट करना है. Okay. Communal, you cannot say the intention was not wrong, that communal overtones, but yes, during that time, so some of the, like if you see on the Islamic reform movements that time, so Deoband and this were also revivalist in nature. But Sir Syed Ahmed Khan was more of a social modernist reformer to start with, although later on the shades were changed, but to start with, it was a modern reforms within the Islam through the Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, because he was believing that Ahmadiyya movement, but later on that movement has like divide and rule, and it came under the policy of the Britishers, and later on the fate of this particular movement was also somewhat under the shadow of British hegemony and British policy of divide and rule. But yes, Western education and those aspects were discussed. But sir, Wahhabi and these are revivalist. Yes. So there were certain revivalists, but अरे वो हमारा हिस्ट्री का क्लास नहीं है, यहाँ पे एथिक्स में आ जाओ, ठीक है. Religious moral philosophies. Okay. So we are more interested in themes. नाम आप याद रखो. Okay, वहाँ से. Let's come to this part now first. Religious moral philosophies you can write. Let's write religious moral philosophies. Okay, first, Hindu moral philosophy. So, what are the different aspects? Hindu, first is principle of karma. Principle of karma. Karma, what is this? This is philosophy, No, that is Nishkam karma. Only karma. First we'll see. हाँ, comes around. Okay, deeds. This is, अरे वो तो एकदम, हाँ ठीक है, modern है. खाली कर्म बताओ. Karma is a work, yes. Do duties, do. It's a deeds, work, activity. Do some activity in life. Okay? Doing activity in life, doing work in life, principle of active life, having a active life. In fact, why this is karma itself is a moral, because it was to be understood with respect of having a passive, inactive life. कर्म फिलोसॉफी सेज कि ऐसे घर में बैठ के धरती के ऊपर बोझ मत बन जाओ. ठीक है, खाओ पियो और ना सांप नाग ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा है, उसके ऊपर बोझ मत बनो. ठीक है, सो डू समथिंग इन लाइफ. दैट इज अबाउट कर्म. कर्म इज philosophy of activity, philosophy of action. Yes, it is a action oriented, it is a activity oriented, it is deeds, it is work. Now write the second, that is a nishkam karma, principle of nishkam karma. निष्काम कर्म. नाउ डू समथिंग, अब उसको और इथिकली कर रहे हैं. डू समथिंग विदाउट एक्सपेक्टिंग द बेनिफिट्स. ओके, डू योर ड्यूटीज, डू योर ड्यूटीज, बट डू दैट इन अ सेल्फलेस मैनर. ओके, डू द ड्यूटीज इन अ सेल्फलेस मैनर. सेल्फलेस मैनर. कर्म करो पर फल की अपेक्षा मत करो. डू योर ड्यूटी. Okay, and leave it up to the all almighty God and nature. Okay, एथिस्ट के लिए नेचर बोलना पड़ता है, गॉड बोले तो गुस्सा आ जाता है एथिस्ट को. ठीक है, सो yes, so the point is, in fact this has to be compared with the deontology. That duty aspect is important, not the end. Okay, in fact I explained there also, that is there is a sakam karma also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita for comparison. Okay, they have said sakam karma is about doing the work with the purpose. Okay, you want to gain something for the benefits, for the purpose. If you are doing, that is called sakam karma. If you are doing selflessly, then it is called nishkam karma. And in between sakam karma and nishkam karma, nishkam is a more moral philosophy. Okay, that's it. Because in case of sakam karma, it is compared to the utilitarian philosophy, that you do by having a target on the end result in utilitarianism. But here, this philosophy says that your duty should be the prime end. Okay, so that's about the nishkam karma and sakam karma. Then next you can write, that is there are 4 purushartha. Okay, next principle. 4 purushartha. फोर पुरुषार्थ. यस, कौन कौन से 4 पुरुषार्थ हैं? धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष. Dharma, Artha, Kam, and Moksha. Okay, so these are the 4 Purushartha. Now let's see what is the Dharma. What is Dharma? Yes, duties, righteous duties. Okay, doing the righteous duty. Righteous duty. In fact, Dhamma is related with the whole, something that binds the society together. So there is a ethical principle for the society. तो एक सोसाइटी में कुछ मॉरल प्रिंसिपल है, ओके, विच बाइंड्स द एवरीवन इन द सोसाइटी टुगेदर. सो एट इंडिविजुअल लेवल, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ड्यूटी यू शुड डू is righteous duty. That is what is required to maintain this society together. So it has to be a righteous duty, something which is not contradicting the society, but something for the equilibrium and the peace and harmony of the society. That is called righteous duty at individual level. Okay, earth is related with the money. Yes, money. It is about the material happiness, for the material happiness. Calm is related with the desire. Okay, it is for the sensuous happiness. Sensuous happiness. Moksha is salvation, liberation. Okay, yes, you can use salvation. This is for the spiritual happiness. Spiritual happiness. Okay, dharma, artha, kam, moksha. Now, let's compare with the Western philosophies now. Okay, so these are the four attributes. In fact, it is being said that every individual should follow these four principles, and these principles are recognized as four purushartha. Now, if you see this material pleasure, okay, utilitarianism is talking about this basic aspect. Okay, we have seen in utilitarianism. Bentham's utilitarianism is talking about this. But that's why we say that the philosophy of Oriental societies or Indian philosophy is more enriched. Okay, it has different components. There is no thrust on the duty here. The duty component is also recognized. Obviously, this is the basic biological aspect. So that's a different part. But here also the spiritual happiness is also recognized. So something West is only talking about materialistic sense, but beyond that, we focus on the duty aspect and also on the spiritual aspect. Okay, so this is the four components of each one's life, and that should be the righteous components. There should be a judicious mix of all the components, and therefore that makes the person as a purushartha, what they call. Okay. So have you understood this four purushartha? Now next you can write is, in fact, there is a one philosophy which is in India focus on only materialistic happiness. Yes, Charvak. Okay. So the Charvak is compared with this utilitarian philosophy of the West. Charvak also does not focus on spirit and etc. etc. It's only a materialistic sense of happiness. In fact, this is called as hedonism. There is a term, hedonist or hedonism. Hedonism means utilitarianism. This consumerism, materialism, hedonism, एक ही word है, hedonist. The one who follow is a hedonist, or it is called as hedonism. Hedonism means materialistic sense of happiness. It is approved by the Charvak. But otherwise, these are the things. Next, you can write within Hindu like gun dynamics. गुण, अरे हिंदी वर्ड है वो, गुण रहता है ना, हाँ गुण. हाँ, this is compared very close to the virtues. We'll discuss that is how the gun is related with the virtue ethics. First, let us understand what is the theory, and then we'll compare with the Western philosophies. गुण में 3 गुण बताए गए हैं. Okay. 3 gun are there. What are the 3 gun? Sadgun, Avgun nahi hai. Okay, Sadgun is virtue, Avgun vices. हाँ, तमसा, तमस, क्या क्या? रजो, अरे प्यार से बोल रहे क्या? राजस, हाँ. Rajas or Rajo, whatever the, हाँ, Rajas. And third is Sattva. सत्व. बोला सात्विक, शादी कर लो, सात्विक, सर्वगुण संपन्न है लोग. हाँ, वही है वो सात्विक. Yes, let's see one by one first, and then we'll compare. What is, okay, tamas, rajas, and sattva. What does this tamas represent? Non-vegetarian. Okay. कुछ भी है अपने मन से. हाँ. Aggression, darkness. Okay. It represents the darkness. हाँ, तमसो माँ ज्योतिर्गमय है ना, तो that is अंधकार से उजाले की ओर, अज्ञान से ज्ञान की ओर. ठीक है, लेकिन अभी आप अज्ञान में ही हैं यहाँ पे. ठीक है, तमस में you are in darkness. So what the darkness represents? All pessimistic life, inactivity. This represents inactiveness, inactivity, passive, pessimism. Okay, all negative things. मतलब लाइफ में कुछ है ही नहीं है, मतलब ड्राई लाइफ है पूरे. There's no kick in life. Okay, so that's tamas, darkness. Yes, what is rajas? This is aggression. What you were saying about. This is about the greed. It represents the greed, passion, aggression, extravagant life, extravagant. Okay. See, this is like यहाँ पे है कि कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, यहाँ पे रुक नहीं रहा है, ठीक है? हाँ, मतलब दोनों भी बियॉन्ड है, ऑप्टिमम नहीं है दोनों भी. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा उसको और इंजेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे ये रहता है ना एक्स्ट्रा वेकेंट, मतलब राजस एक. हाँ, राज लाइक शयनयान बड़े बड़े रहते हैं, फिर घोड़े पे निकलेगा, फिर 2-4 मार के आएगा, फिर दुनिया भर की दासियां रहेगी, ये वो. So that rajas, that's also one gun. Now come to the sattva, sattvic. Balanced life, okay. Balanced life. Okay, that is all goodness, temperance, all goody points, whatever you want to write. And this is virtuous. So all virtues where we see the part of the sattva. That's a sattvic. सर्वगुण संपन्न है हमारे घर में, तो ऐसे टाइप्स में. Okay, now what is this gun dynamics? Basically, in one individual, there are all 3 gun. Okay, the proportion is differ, and that's how there is a dynamics. So personality is which guna is more in a particular person. Depending upon that, there is a reflection. So किसी में तमस component, जैसे permutation combination है इसमें तीनों में, तो तमस ज़्यादा होगा तो ऐसे रहेगा, रजस ज़्यादा होगा तो ये है, और there is an attempt to move towards the sattvic part. Okay, so something like what we discuss in virtue ethics focuses on the inculcating the moral and good values, desirable values, and elimination of the vices. Okay, so same way there is a sattvic, there should be a progression towards the sattvic component, and that is what is the guna dynamics is about. Okay, so this is within the Hinduism, there are different aspects. So write the next, that is a Buddhism. Okay. ब्रेक बुद्धिज्म के बाद में मिलेगा. आपका हिस्ट्री हुआ है क्या? अरे मॉडर्न रह गया? हुआ है, अच्छा. ओके, राइट, बुद्धिज्म. Now, in fact, Buddhism and Jainism are, when we speak about moral philosophies, in fact, the whole philosophy of Buddhism and Jainism is originated from point of view of the moral principles. Okay, in fact, the story, there is a little bit of history since you are not done the history. Okay, so history was, there was a prince called Siddhartha. Okay, so Siddhartha was there. So Siddhartha, a prince, ventured one day, okay, to visit the, हाँ, जो भी राम राज्य रहेगा उसका देखने निकले थे. So he encountered 4 different scenes. Okay, so कौन से different scenes थे? There was a one sick person, then one ill, okay, sick person, one is old person who was not able to walk. There was a death procession was going on. And what is the 4th one? हाँ साधु मतलब there was a one person who seems to be very happy, calm, equanimous, gracious, seems to be very happy. So he thought that there is a sorrow for someone, like somebody is not able to walk, somebody is sick, there is a death procession, people were crying and etc. And then he thought, but there is a one person who is like very calm and equanimous, and he is happy. So he wanted to find out what are the reasons for sorrowness and how to get out of this particular suffering of life and how to achieve this happiness. Now he thought that this problem cannot be resolved by sitting at home, so he abandoned on one fine day his all the palatial building, materialistic pleasure, and he came out and started searching for this truth, noble truth. Now, there are small stories in between. First, he met the Brahmins who were sitting and they said that fasting is important. Okay, if you want to achieve anything, आपको उपवास करना पड़ेगा. So Buddha also sat with them for a few days. One day बुद्धा को भी भूख लगी थी. मतलब ये स्टोरी है अब कि क्या है आप देख लो इसका टेस्टिफाई करना है. तो स्टोरी ये थी कि उनको भूख लगी, उन्होंने उनको कुछ चावल दिया था. फिर ब्राह्मण ने बोला कि ऐसे रूल्स नहीं है हमारे, उपवास है ये, फास्टिंग है, गेट आउट ऑफ दिस फास्टिंग एंड ऑल. बुद्धा वाज आल्सो नॉट कन्विंस्ड दैट फास्टिंग कैन नॉट बी द मेथड ऑफ salvation, so he also abandoned them. And then somewhere he was wandered and reached to the Bihar. Okay, बोध गया में पहुंच गया. ठीक है. In बोध गया he sat under the peepal tree, meditated for a long, and then the Siddhartha become Gautam Buddha by enlightenment. Okay. Then after the enlightenment he has gone to the Sarnath, where he has given his first sermon. Okay, and the whole life he was telling what he has achieved during the time of meditation, and the whole philosophy is a philosophy of Buddhism. Okay, so this philosophy of Buddhism, moral philosophy, can be summarized into four noble truths. So he has come up with the four noble truth. Four noble truth of life. Yes, what are the four noble truths? First truth is, सत्य अहिंसा ये नहीं है यार, यहाँ पे नहीं. There is suffering in life or sorrowness in life. नहीं, वो सत्य वो भी है, आगे है थोड़ा सा, रुको थोड़ा सा. There is suffering in life. There is suffering in each life. लिखो कि क्रिब मत करो. ओके, ऐसे बुद्धा ने कहा था कि you are not the chosen one, that you are having a suffering, और मुझे क्यों ऐसे है वगैरह वगैरह, ऐसा नहीं. This is a universal truth that there is a suffering and sorrowness in life. Second, desire is a cause of suffering. बहुत पता है इसके बारे में. Desire is cause of suffering. So first truth is suffering is there. Again, do not blame others, because the enemy lies within you, and that enemy is desire. What is the third noble truth? Yes, controlling the desire is a solution or to come out of the suffering. Controlling desire or eliminating the desire is a source of happiness or is a way to get out of the suffering. Elimination of desire is a way to get out of the suffering. So there is a solution. Basically, third point is solution for suffering, and solution is extinguishing the desires. What is the fourth? How to do that? The way. That is the way for achieving the enlightenment, that is through the eightfold path. The way for achieving this enlightenment or this thing, there is a eightfold path. This is called Ashtanga Marg. Okay, Ashtanga Marg. Ashtang means eight, eightfold path or Ashtanga Marg. This is also called middle path of Buddha. Is also the middle path of Buddhism. Okay, middle paths that you need to avoid the extremes, because extremes are guided by the desires. Okay, you need to maintain this that desire should be neutral, middle path, calm, equanimous. Okay, there should not be an attachment. So the desire, so first is suffering. There is a desire is a cause of suffering. If you control the desires, then suffering can be come to an end. And how to do that? That solution, controlling the desires by following the eightfold path or Ashtanga marg. So right, what are the points of eightfold path? Ashtanga marg के क्या क्या points है? 8 points or Ashtanga marg. This is all are about the pious and the middle path, right? Right understanding, right understanding of things of life, right understanding. Second is right aspirations, right aspirations. Third is right speech. सब right ही है, ठीक है. Fourth is right action. Fifth is right livelihood. Right livelihood. Sixth is right effort. Next, right mindfulness. And right concentration or right meditation. हाँ, समाधि यही है यार, समाधि. Concentration. Actually, the Buddhism is written in Pali language. Okay, so Pali का conversion English में अब कई आपको ये मिलेगा right contemplation. So right contemplation, right understanding, okay, right dreams, right aspiration. So English conversion, you will see that थोड़ा सा synonymous words मिल सकते हैं. Okay. Right understanding, right aspirations, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, right mindfulness, and right concentration, or in bracket you can write meditation. Meditation, there is a lot of focus in Buddhism on meditation. Okay, there are meditation centers across the globe. Okay, and we see that there is a focus on this introspection, meditation, etc., etc. Now let's one word on each one of them. Okay, one line. Right understanding मतलब क्या है कि बुद्धा ने कहा है कि first thing is you need to understand the world in a right manner. And what is the right manner? This understanding these four noble truths. Okay, what is the right thing to understand? That we need to understand that there is suffering in life. It's a part of everyone's life. So we need to understand this. Second, understanding that desire is suffering and solution is also there. So this understanding has to be there. Second is right aspirations. Once you have understood, okay, these are the realities of life, accordingly you need to have aspirations. नहीं तो फिर से वही बात पहले समझ गया कि desire is a cause of suffering और फिर ये चाहिए वो चाहिए मर्सिडीज चाहिए BMW चाहिए तो पहला अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गया फिर एस्पिरेशंस वैसे नहीं है ओके सो यू नीड टू कीप एक्सट्रीम्स अवॉइड करना है ओके यू नीड टू अवॉइड द एक्सट्रीम्स राइट स्पीच ऑब्वियसली दिस इज रिलेटेड विद द ट्रुथ ओके राइट एक्शन राइट लाइवलीहुड व्हाट इज राइट लाइवलीहुड हाँ डोंट टेक ब्राइब या फिर जो लाइवलीहुड है वो लेजिटिमेट सोर्सेस से करो बैंक रॉबरी करके पेट मत चलाओ ओके पेट चलाने के लिए बैंक रॉबरी कर रहा हूँ because livelihood principle was mentioned. Okay, so that's not the consideration. Right efforts, whatever you have decided, you should put efforts. Right mindfulness, what is it meaning? What is right mindfulness? Not being irrational, and one should be very conscious of what one is doing and what one is up to. Because see, the thing is that the whole philosophy of Buddhism and Jainism originated in the context of post-Vedic period, where the Hinduism में जो वो 4 varna system थी, that becomes a rigid, and there was a Brahminical domination. So what has happened in the context how the Buddhism and Jainism originated, during that time, before Buddhism and Jainism was about to originate, so Brahminical domination was absolute, and there were so many meaningless rites, rituals, animal sacrifices. So if a person, and there was a restriction on the people to read the sacred books. अगर आपको sacred book पढ़ना है तो ब्राह्मण के थ्रू ही पढ़ना पड़ेगा. गॉड को कुछ preachings, offerings देनी है तो फिर ब्राह्मण है. So सब तरफ वो domination हुआ था, and obviously they are not going to do free of cost. So there will be a penances for it, and there are various things. So, and there was a caste discrimination was absolute. So there was so much of inequality, there was so much of discrimination, there was so much of meaningless rituals, animal sacrifices. So it was very difficult for a common man to follow the religion. And against this context, the Buddhism and Jainism developed, which focuses upon the equality, which not focuses upon any meaningless rituals. It was a very simplistic philosophy, this 4 and 5 principles, and that is what the religion is. So this attracted the common masses a lot. That was the reason why Buddhism and Jainism, within a shorter span of time, it spread like anything, okay, during the time, because it has appealed to the this masses directly. Now, right mindfulness is a part where once you have identified all are equal, then there is no point in losing one's conscious mind. Okay, you cannot be a puppet in the hands of others. So that was mindfulness means every person is capable, and this capability he should understand, and he should ensure that he should always remain alert. Okay, that is about the right mindfulness or being alert. Right concentration is about the meditation and this samadhi. Okay, so that's the part. Now these are the 4 noble truths and eightfold path. Okay, there is something more that Buddhism also suggested 5 don'ts. क्या नहीं करना है. Okay, 5 sort of don'ts of Buddhism. 5 things that is to be avoided in life or should not do, should not be done. 5 don'ts, do's and don'ts. ये 8 do's है समझ लो. Eightfold path is do's. 5 don'ts of Buddhism. क्या क्या बताया था? 5 don'ts क्या? हाँ, पहले तो इंटॉक्सिकेशन. हाँ, first, yes, no injury or harm to others. That is in fact what we understand, non-violence. No injury or harm to others. Second is no lie, no stealing. Okay, जो बेसिक ऑब्वियस प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मॉरलिटी रहते हैं, किसी को मारो मत, झूठ मत बोलो, चोरी मत करो. ओके, चोरी नहीं करनी है, झूठ नहीं बोलना है, और किसी को हाँ मारना नहीं है. क्या है? यस, नहीं बस नहीं है अभी. 4th and 5th है ना. हाँ, 4th is yes, no consumption of intoxicants. No consumption of intoxicants. हाँ, लिखो ब्रैकेट में शराब और जो भी लिखना है. शराब, ग्रास, माल, जो समझता है लिखो. ठीक है. No consumption of intoxicants. The last. नो अकोमोडेशन. कहाँ अकोमोडेशन चाहिए आपको? जैनिज्म में है नो अकोमोडेशन है. वो एक्यूमुलेशन किस बात का? वेल्थ. यस, बट नॉट इन बुद्धिज्म. इन 5 उसमें नहीं है. यस, दैट्स पॉइंट इज देयर इन केस ऑफ जैनिज्म. ओके, विल डिस्कस. राइट. No sexual misconduct. In fact, this we see that how these principles again get more stricter in Jainism when we'll compare with Jain. Here you can write some of the positive attributes भी लिखो, virtues में काम आएंगे आपको कभी लिखना है तो. Okay, what should be there if it is not? In fact, they are known from the positively also. That is non-violence. What should be there? Love, compassion, care. Okay. In fact, जो principle of ahimsa है, okay, so that is non-violence, and we should extend rather love, compassion, care to the others. No lie and satya, yes, truth, honesty. Satya and ahimsa. Okay, these are the two twin principles of Buddhism. Satya and ahimsa. No stealing. डोनेटिंग. थोड़ा ऑनेस्टी तो दूसरों को भी देने की सोचो ना. पहले तो चोरी कर रहे हैं तो नहीं चोरी करेंगे, वह तो उनको देने. एक और जरा स्टेप आगे. यस, चैरिटी, फिलैंथ्रोपी. Philanthropy, you understand? Okay, so Warren Buffett, नाम सुना है? The philanthropist. Yes, no consumption of intoxicants. Milk, हरियाणा से आए हो क्या? दूध दही का हरियाणा. हरियाणा सब में नंबर 1 रहता है. पता नहीं कौन से, मतलब इकोनॉमिक सर्वे आपको देखना नहीं रहता है. ओके, एवरीवेयर हरियाणा इज नंबर 1. रेडियो में ऐड सुनते हैं नहीं सुनते? यस, बताइए क्या है? पंजाब से है आप? पटियाला पेक पीना है? क्या पीना है? अरे वेज क्या? वाह. पानी पीना है? Juice. Yes, there is a deeper aspect here. Think. Drink your anger. Huh? Yes. थोड़ा सा सोचो क्या हो सकता है. Why it must be, healthy nahi, lifestyle. It's not just the physical aspect. There is a deeper thing. Yes? You are very close to the reality, real answer you can say. Yes, the answer, yes. See, the point is about, obviously, the health aspect he was talking, that after consumption, but it is more about this, ye likha tha na, right mindfulness. Okay, conscious, yes. Because of intoxicant, there is obviously loss of conscience. So the mindfulness is lost. The worth of a person, the productivity of a person is obviously lost. So there is a focus. Because what we were talking about, against the Brahminical domination, you are already considered as inferior. So once you consume the intoxicant, so all aspect of the life, the energy, the conscious mind, this will be lost. So the why it has been avoided, not just for the health reason and etc., but more about the alertness. Okay, to be remain alert in life, to be remain conscious. Okay, to be remain conscious, to be remain alert, to be remain mindful. पूरा घूमता है नहीं तो गोल गोल, समझ में नहीं आता है हैंगओवर में क्या डिसीजन ले रहे, क्या नहीं ले रहे. या किसी ने अलर्ट की जगह अल्टर तो नहीं लिखा है? डिफिकल्ट है ये पढ़ाना भी, मतलब रियलिटी से बहुत कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करता है, बट है अब ये प्रिंसिपल्स. नो सेक्सुअल मिसकंडक्ट. कस्टडी, chastity, nahi. See, the thing is, we'll see in case of chastity is in Buddhism. Okay, here it is saying that no sexual misconduct. The focus is on this. Okay, so misconduct nahi honi chahiye. Loyalty, commitment, fidelity. ये समझ में आएगा आपको जरा, इनफिडिलिटी, फिडिलिटी, fidelity, loyalty, commitment with respect to the sexual conduct. This is an immoral aspect within this. That is why it is called misconduct. So, loyalty, fidelity, commitment. Okay, so that's the thing. So, these are the five don'ts of Buddhism. So, this is about the moral philosophy of Buddhist. Buddhism and Jainism are important one. So, we are taking in length. So, we'll take a break here and we'll continue with the other philosophers. थोड़ा सा जैन लेके a break. जैन फिलोसॉफी लिखो, मॉरल ही है वो. Jainism, yes. In case of Jain, there are what we say is three ratna, Trinity. Trinity or three important principle, which is called Tri Ratna. Three jewels or Trinity, three important principles. Yes, what are the three principles? First is right knowledge is second. उसके पहले right faith, okay, right faith or right contemplation. Right vision. मतलब depending upon which book and what the translation they have done. Again, this is written in Jain. किसमें लिखा हुआ है? Pali Prakrit. Okay, so उसका translation है. Second is yes, right knowledge. And yes, next is right action. Right faith. Okay, faith, that is your in सोच में भी rightfulness होना चाहिए, righteousness. Whatever you think, whatever you believe in. Okay, in belief system also there is a righteousness. The knowledge, that is a rightful knowledge, and right action. In fact, this is written as a samyak drashti, samyak gyan, samyak achar. Achar. Okay, so these are the three different aspects. Achar रहता है, pickle वाला कौन सा रहता है? हाँ? Achar, achar. आचार. Okay, आचार है ये. Anyways, अरे that's it. अब ये जो three right action है, okay, there are 5 vows of Jainism. Okay, 5 vows मतलब 5 कसमें, 5 promises. If we follow these 5 principles, then it is called as right action. 5 vows or 5 principles of Jainism. In fact, these 5 are comparable with this 5 don'ts of Buddhism. I guess काफी सारे similar ही है. First is ahimsa. Ahimsa is a non-violence. Ahimsa is a non-violence. Second is satya. That is truth. So first, second, and third principle are same. Next is asteya. Asteya is no stealing. Asteya. Ahimsa, Satya, and Asteya. In fact, these 3 feelings, that is non-violence, no lie, and no stealing. Fourth is, what is it? Yes, aparigraha. Aparigraha. Aparigraha is no accumulation or concentration of property. Wealth, no accumulation of wealth or concentration of property. And fifth is, yes, brahmacharya. It is chastity or celibacy. Celibacy or chastity. Okay, so these three principles are comparable to this Buddhism. Aparigraha, a strict. These are very Jain is a very disciplined and very strict brahmacharya. In fact, you see the like in case of Hinduism, there is a calm. Okay, that is sensuous desires, and then it becomes no sexual misconduct in case of Buddhism, and here it comes to the brahmacharya and chastity. In fact, these were stricter principle where those who are living as a monk and staying in chaityas and viharas, पता है ना वो रहते थे उसमें, हाँ चैत्य विहारास. क्या डिफरेंस है चैत्य और विहारा में? हाँ, विहारास आर रेसिडेंशियल, चैत्य में प्रेयर्स वगैरह करते थे. ठीक है. Yes. So again, these principles are the principles of moral philosophy. So here, at least this some of the obvious principle for which the Buddhism and Jainism is known for, that is about Satya, Ahimsa, and this aspect of non-stealing. Okay. So some of the aspects of Jainism and Buddhism, they are frequently quoted as a universal moral principles of universal moral principles. That is it about Jain philosophy. Now, some other religion also you can like take like Sikh. In case of Sikh, I have mentioned many a times like this community kitchen and focus on one God. Okay, so there is oneness of God. Okay, so that's the principle, and truth is the name. Then issue of this community kitchen, that is called langar. Okay, so this also helps you in understanding of the society and having the moral principle with respect to the society. In Islam, zakat I have mentioned. Okay, zakat, yes, that is 5% of the, or jo bhi hai, matlab some part of your income should be given to the, yes, charity, as a part of a charity. In fact, there are 5 principles of Islam ka wo ek principle hai. What are the other principles? Although they are not, they are specific related with the ritual. 5 times namaz, okay, per day. Huh? What is the first one? Huh, there is but one God. No, oneness nahi hai. There is but one God and his name is Allah. That is the first. Second is namaz. Namaz 5 times in a day. Then that is about zakat. Then Hajj pilgrimage. कितने हो गए? अरे, first is there is but one God and Allah His name. That is the first. Second is prayer or namaz. Then Hajj pilgrimage. Then zakat. Yes, what is the fifth? Ramzan. Yes, in the month of Ramzan there is a fasting. Jihad is not a part of 5 principle. No, but the jihad is also has to be seen from a liberal perspective. Jihad is basically fight against injustice. To put it in a very liberal sense, it is a fight against injustice. So each religion talks about fight against injustice. But the term is becoming unprejudiced because of the radical interpretation of this word jihad. Otherwise, mujahideen is one who is a fighter. Okay, fight against the injustice. So that has been suggested. Which religion does not talk about? यहाँ पे भी हिंदू में जो war बोला जाता है. Okay, in fact, the whole Bhagavad Gita is about the war, just war. Okay, the Shri Krishna, and there is a moral dilemma for the Arjuna. Okay, somewhere here in Kurukshetra, इधर ही आजू बाजू है ना कहीं पे, ठीक है, हरियाणा में, ठीक है. So there was a moral dilemma for the Arjuna. How should I wage a war against my own brothers? So he was suggested by the Krishna that it's more of a evil. You have to see the yes, धर्म की अधर्म के ओर विजय है, ऐसे types में तो उनको suggest किया गया. Okay, so that's more about seen from point of view of a war against the evil. Okay, in Christianity also holy war or holy war has been suggested. Okay, so war, particularly here, the war is not about fighting and killing people. It is more about fight against injustices. Okay, so that's the liberal meaning, but then because of this radical elements in each religion, so there is a varied interpretations also. But anyways, so the point is, five principles are not important. What is most important principle from point of view of a morality? So in each different religion, you will find different glimpses of basically the moral principles. In fact, we have taken one class बोल रहा हूँ, एक question लिया था religion and ethics and their relationship. So this will help you in writing some of the value addition to that answer. But then answer should not be only religion is equal to ethics. You have to also discuss about some of the religious things which are not part of ethics and some of the ethical things which exist irrespective of religious consideration. Okay, so that it can be a source of ethics. Certainly, it is an important source of ethics, but then there are other things also. Now let's move on to the next. That is thinkers में आते हैं. Ambedkar you can write, that is first, or you can write the Gandhi. Gandhi लिख लो या Ambedkar लिख लो, whichever was. क्या लिखा है? ओके, गांधी लिखो क्योंकि कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, अदरवाइज आधा अंबेडकर आधा गांधी हो जाएगा. फिर एक बार गांधी जी को खत्म कर देते हैं. आजकल घोड़सेवाद भी आ रहा है बहुत सारा. यस, राइट, महात्मा गांधी. First, write the principles. In fact, Gandhi is very important from UPSC's point of view. One of the, you see his relevance in history, modern India. Essay writing में भी कई बार उनके statements आ जाते हैं. Ethics में तो obviously. So if nobody will rescue you, at least Gandhian philosophers rescue some other way. और वैसे चेक करने वाले भी थोड़े से ओल्ड जनरेशन के हैं, तो उनको भी थोड़ा रहता है कि हाँ कुछ लिखा है जो मुझे भी पता है और मैं भी बिलीव करता हूँ. तो ऐसे तो मतलब कुछ टॉपिक करके रखने चाहिए, 15-20 टॉपिक जो कहीं पे भी यूज हो, जैसे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, ग्लोबलाइजेशन, गांधी. दीज आर सॉर्ट ऑफ पोटैटोज. हाँ, सब सब्जी में डाल सकते हो थोड़ा बहुत, ठीक है. इट विल फेल्च यू मार्क्स ऑल्सो. ओके, यूटिलिटेरियन व्यू ऑफ लर्निंग महात्मा गांधी. ओके, सो दैट वी शुड फेच मोर मार्क्स. समझ में आया नहीं आया? ओके, हाँ. Okay, so that is Mahatma Gandhi. So first, let's see what are the different principles that we can learn here. Most of the things, some of the other way I have discussed. So new things, which are the parts, I'm going to discuss separately. So first, take the list. Satya, obviously first. Satya, that is principle, truth. Ahimsa, non-violence. And think of satyagraha. Satyagraha. Then theory of or principle of means and ends. Continuity of means and ends, sort of things. Then principle of need and greed. Okay, and then reformative theory of justice. Reformative principle लिखो. Principle of justice. Then principle of Swaraj. Swaraj. Swa is self. Okay, self-rule. There is also Suraj. That is, a su is good governance. Su and swa, there is a difference. Okay, SWANSU, good governance. Then principle of toleration, tolerance or toleration, tolerance. Okay, so these are some of the principles. There is also, this is your assignment, you can look by yourself. Gandhi's talisman करके एक है। सुना है ये क्या है? हाँ हाँ, एनसीईआरटी की बुक के आगे है। ओके, पढ़ लो वो, Gandhi's talisman. In fact, 7 scenes we talk about. So what are those things also we can discuss. Okay. Yes, one more thing you can write, I have forgotten, that is constructive program of Gandhi. Constructive program. Okay. Now some of the themes such as we have done reformative justice. Okay. Principle of need and greed कहाँ गया था? Yes, environmental ethics में sustainable development. Almost means and ends also we have done in case of deontology and etc. Tolerance also we have discussed much on it. Definition of tolerance. Tolerance as an yes, good call. It is foundational values of civil services में किया था. ठीक है? So, but I'll give you the broader idea of each principle. In fact, for him, principles are not separated from each other. Okay, they are, in fact, in constructive program. Okay, you can write and इसको oblique करके सर्वोदया करके लिखा. सर्वोदया. Okay, now let's see the thing of Satya, Ahimsa. Just now we have discussed, okay, these are the important principles in case of Buddhism and Jainism. In fact, Gandhi himself was too much inspired by this Buddhism and Jainism, and he upholded this Satya and Ahimsa, his principles, throughout his life. In fact, it's very interesting to see that this Satya and Ahimsa were not original to the Gandhi. Original in a sense that it was not for the first time Gandhi was talking about Satya and Ahimsa, but in contemporary time, we see that it becomes synonymous with the Gandhi. Satya and Ahimsa, when we say, we utter the word of Mahatma Gandhi. This is because of the fact that he has not only preached but practiced this principle. In fact, this one is original to the Gandhi. Like first, let's understand what is his idea of Satya and Ahimsa. Satya was his final, say for example, whatever you want to achieve, that is a truth. Okay, say during the time of independence, Swarajya was his goal. Okay, Swarajya is a self-rule. So here there was a meaning independence during the time of independence or freedom struggle. What was the truth? Truth is this land belongs to Indians, and truth is that British rule is exploitative in nature. So the truth is that we need to get the Swaraj. Okay, so that's the final vision, that this is a Satya and he want to achieve this Swaraj. Now to achieve this Swaraj, we need to, so this is a final goal, that is the independence. But for independence, then there are means. So means is the Ahimsa. Okay, so Ahimsa is a means to achieve the Swaraj. Okay, so this is his philosophy. In fact, this philosophy is reflected in principle of means and ends, that the mean should be as pure as that of end. Okay, and therefore he has adopted the path of Ahimsa. I have discussed the two schools also, like end justifies mean and means are equally good as that of the end. End justifies means में मैंने बताया था आपको Machiavelli and Kautilya. Okay, any kind of, that is Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed. Different kinds of means can be employed, or use of the force, use of coercion, power in order to achieve. But for Gandhi, that you cannot claim the moral victory by using the unethical or violent means. Okay. Now, this was his philosophy that I should have a purity in means and ends. Now, how to bring this philosophy into the practice is the aspect which is original to Gandhi. That is the Satyagraha. If this is a philosophy, this three component, that I want to maintain the continuity between means and end, Ahimsa should be my means, and Satya is what I want to achieve. How I am going to do that is Satya. Satyagraha. Satyagraha is a tools or the mechanism to which he was practicing this philosophy of Ahimsa. Okay, these are the प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट. अरे लिख लो, और इसमें कुछ लिखने का ऐसे है नहीं, ठीक है. जितना बताया है ऐसे थोड़ा, क्योंकि वो डिस्कस किया है, उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा इश्यूज नहीं है. जस्ट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. सत्याग्रह इज प्रैक्टिकल टूल, practical tool, practical tool or means to achieve swaraj, to achieve swaraj or independence, to achieve the swaraj. Satyagraha is satyagraha term is mix of two terms, satya and agraha. Satya plus agraha. Satya plus agraha. Agraha means insistence. Okay, insisting the truth. That it means insisting and adhering to the truth till the time you achieve it. Insisting and adhering to the truth till the time you achieve the goal. Now, what was his, in fact, it is being said that gift of Gandhi is Satyagraha, that he has for the first time let the world know that how through the non-violent tools you can achieve the independence or you can achieve the goal. So this was unique. It was never been earlier tried anywhere, and this was original to Gandhi. And the tools are, example, क्या क्या रहता है, picketing, protest, non-cooperation, civil disobedience. Okay, right. What are the tools of Satyagraha? Tools of Satyagraha are protest, peaceful protest. Okay, tools of Satyagraha are peaceful protest. Peaceful protest, picketing, fasting, non-cooperation, civil disobedience, Okay, so these were his tools. In fact, he learned these tools in Africa. Okay, so when Gandhi, again, you see that his for which he is known, his journey has started very late. He was a well-sorted lawyer, yes, and in fact, he has gone to this Africa for his private reason. Okay, not for changing the Africans and etc. So there was a professional work. He went there. But then that famous incident that has happened, he was thrown out of the, boogie for the racial discrimination. And therefore, not only during his journey, okay, कौन सा station है वो? St. Petersburg station, कौन सा है? Petersburg, okay, where Mr. Modi has also recently visited and has taken the same route what the Gandhi has taken. But the Gandhi has taken in the crowd, and here there was a red carpet. That's the difference. So the journey was there, and he was thrown out. That was an incident. But when he reached there was throughout a racial discrimination. The British were doing the racial discrimination, and there he realized that there were so many acts. Like there is a poll tax, there was a marriage-related issue. So there was a n number of different racial discriminations. And then he formed what is called as a Tolstoy form there. Okay, he was inspired by the Tolstoy. Okay, so Tolstoy form me, he started experimenting with the truth, what they call the refining the tools of Satyagraha. So through different non-violent struggle, in fact, he used to write the letter to the British government there, and there is a one separate movie also on that, Making of Mahatma. करके एक movie है. Okay, this movie in fact ends when he come back to India. मतलब it is completely on Africa, that what are the different things related with the Africa. In fact, जो गांधी मूवी है उसमें भी कुछ चीजें दिखाई हुई है. तो the point is his experiment with the truth and the tools of satyagrah he has learned way back in case of Africa. Now, now what is the difference between this non-cooperation and civil disobedience? Yes, what is the difference? Non-cooperation. Yes. In fact, this is increase in the intensity of his protest level. And in case of non-cooperation, you simply do not cooperate. Like there was a non-cooperative movement. So non-cooperative movement means lawyer will give up their practice. School will children will not go into the school. Teachers will not go into the school. So you are not cooperating with the Britishers. The idea was only few bunch of Britishers were there in India to rule, and maximum people who are working under the orders of Britishers were Indians. So he thought that if the Indians will refuse to cooperate, then there will be a paralysis of the governance. Okay, and it used to get paralyzed when Gandhi used to give the call that there will be a non-cooperation. So CWC, that is a Congress Working Committee, will have a rule that nobody will turn up for the. It is a sort of a boycott. Okay, you can understand it as a boycott, but boycott not only of clothes but of institutions, of each services to which you are attached to the Britishers. Whereas the civil disobedience is about breaking the law. Okay, this is a next step. In fact, the civil disobedience movement started with the salt satyagraha. Okay, and he was breaking the law. And throughout the civil disobedience movement, you will see that different types of laws are, are refuted. In fact, this Chaukidara tax, non-Chaukidara tax, बहुत सारे laws है. So defying the law. But again, essential component is defying the law through the peaceful way. Every time it has to be a peaceful way. So the whole aspect of satyagraha was to appeal to the moral conscience of an enemy. Okay, so that was the idea. So right, this tools of satyagraha mein likha hai, and the ultimate aspect or the aspect of satyagraha, is to achieve final goals, the final goals by making moral appeal towards enemy. So invoking that moral conscience in the enemy, he used to like follow these principles. Now, how the moral conscience, say when you are carrying the peaceful protest for a long time, so there is a change of heart of the enemy. Now to start with, people have doubted, people have made the mockery also at times. So you will see that when you will learn the modern India, okay, so he was been questioned numerous times, okay, when he was talking about this non-cooperation and different sorts of things. But he was confident enough because he has already done it in case of Africa. So, and he knew the number in India is a very strong. So if he could convince the masses in adopting these principles of non-violence and satyagraha, therefore he can. He was also smart enough to understand that when we are not having the weapons and tools and so on and so forth, we are very helpless in front of the enemies. In fact, that's why it is being said that whether the Gandhi was a sort of a politician who was trying to become a saint, or he was a saint who was trying to become a politician, because it was very difficult to predict the Gandhi. It's a one-man show tha pura. मतलब 30 साल तक जब 1917 he came to this Congress Working Committee. So all three major movements, mass movements, was led by him: non-cooperation and civil disobedience, and finally the Quit India movement. So it was in fact, if you see in case of non-cooperation, within one stroke he took it back when there was an incident at Chaura Chauri. So he has not taken consultation with the Congress Working Committee, and it was a one order from the Gandhi that the Chauri Chaura incident has happened and the movement has to be taken back. This was also reflect the essential principle of means and ends. During the Chauri Chaura, the movement was getting violent, and he was some 22 policemen were burned into the police chowki, okay, by the masses, and therefore he thought that this is essentially that masses has not understood the meaning of satyagraha, okay, and that's why he called it's a Himalayan blunder. Okay, Himalayan blunder means that people have not yet understood the real concept of satyagraha, that in any case you cannot go and resort to the violence. So therefore immediately the case was taken back. Before that also there were certain incidences, so that's a part of again your history, that this three different movements were there at the local level where he came into the limelight, etc. The whole point is satyagraha as a tool, and this tool has been a potent tool. Not only it was practiced in India against the mighty empire. In fact, there was a time when it used to be said that in British Empire, sun never sets. So that was the so powerful empire in during those time. But then the Indians, through the mass struggle, one of the inspiring thing about the India's freedom struggle is it was a by the mass movement, and it was a non-violent. Okay, it was not fought by the soldiers. It was not fought with the guns and bullets and arrows and bows and etc. So it was completely, obviously there will be a stray event of here and there, but the point is it was essentially a mass movement, and it was a non-violent movement. Now, in contemporary time, you see that there has been a lot of focus, particularly the conflict management studies. Okay, they talk about that conflict can be resolved through the peaceful means of negotiation also. And in fact, across the world, you have examples like Gandhian methodologies have been practiced. That is a satyagraha. In case of Africa, there is a where African independence, okay, is fought on the Gandhian line. Then in Martin Luther King also, when he was Martin Luther King Junior, okay, जिसको बोला जाता है 1960-63 में जो हुए थे. So I have a dream speech and those things. He was fighting against the racial discrimination. Okay, that was again a Gandhian methodology. Aung San Suu Kyi, okay, कहाँ की है? Myanmar, okay. So her struggle was also based upon the Gandhian method. Then Dalai Lama, okay, during the time of this, yes, yes, Tibet, against the Tibet also. Then there was the Les Walecha in case of Poland Solidarity Movement. Okay, so across the world, some of the practice of satyagraha in order to resolve the conflict, okay, which was been fought. In fact, those people I have named just now, all of them have got Nobel Peace Prize, okay, and Gandhi was never got the one. But most of the times we don't know. 1948 was the only year in Nobel Committee's history where the award was not given to anyone. Okay, in 150 years of its history, 1948, that is a death year of Gandhi, where the Nobel Peace Prize was not given to anyone. That was, and accepted that since the Nobel Peace Prize cannot be given posthumously, and Gandhi was no more, so it would have been a very wrong to give a Nobel Peace Prize to anyone. Okay, so that was the only year. In fact, we don't know, but this was the fourth time when 1948 he died. He was nominated. Okay, 1942, 44, 47, 48. So there was a continuous nomination. Although there was a lot of politics during the time. Think of Winston Churchill and those who have won the war. Okay, now the Winston Churchill was the one who was a prime minister when Second World War concluded. And he was the one who was against the Gandhi since inception, when there was a round table conference also. So he said that Gandhi is a half-naked fakir. Okay, he is changing the aspects of Britain. That point of time, if award would have been given to the Mahatma Gandhi, think of there was a time of decolonization time. Okay, decolonization, you understand? It was not the only India. There were so many countries against the regime of Britishers. So giving an award to a person from the third world country who has fought the freedom struggle against the Britishers, so this would have inspired the n number of different colonies, and this would have that sort of inspiration for the decolonization. So there was a lot of politics, but for that matter, when Martin Luther King and this Aung San Suu Kyi and Dalai Lama, each one when got the prize on the basis of this methods of satyagraha, Nobel Peace Prize have said that this was like a commemoration of the Gandhian principles of satyagraha. In fact, recently we see that 2nd October has been accepted as a International Non-Violence Day. In fact, when Martin Luther King was given, in fact, Nobel Peace Prize has said that Gandhi could have done without the Nobel Peace Prize because his aura is so large. But Nobel Peace Prize will be always questioned that the prize was denied, and there will be always a question on the credibility of the Nobel Peace Prize. So that's a lot of discussion which was related with the peace and aspect. But here you must understand that satyagraha generally हमें समझ में नहीं आता है कि क्या है. Okay, this is a practical aspect. Okay, how to practice non-violence and how to achieve the satya. So that was the component. In fact, satyagraha he was not only against the enemies, but for any kind of a conflict. Okay, not necessarily it is about the independence. Any kind of the conflict, he would go for this particular tool. In fact, there are concepts called new social movement. ये जो नर्मदा बचाओ movement, environmental movement, ये जो चिपको movements is related with tree saving, etc. So there are various tribals, environmental movements, and this new social movement इसका concept है. So new social movement have also adopted the methods of satyagraha in order to have their say and raise their voice. So that's the thing. Next is need and greed we have done, okay, with regard to environment. Retributive, reformative principle we have done, like this Swaraj and this thing aspect. स्वराज एक करते हैं बाद में, that takes a time, constructive program. Swaraj is a combination of two terms, that is swa and raj. That is a self rule. So that is good. Raj is governance. In fact, this was a broader term. In fact, his vision is called Ram Raj. Okay, the vision of moral society, prosperous society. So he has articulated his vision. He has articulated his vision in his vision of Ram Raj. Ram Raj, he was not referring to the Rama and communal as such. He was absolutely secular when he was talking about Ram Rajya. It only meant that the kind of the prosperous society that was existing during the time of Rama, that people were happy and the ruler were working in the interest of people. So there is a sense of prosperity which was existing in the society. So this is the vision which we required. Okay, that is Ram Rajya. That is a sense of good governance that we see today. And one of the component of good governance was the self-rule. Okay, self-rule in a sense that, in fact, his Swaraj, just now we have taken the Swaraj. During the time of Freedom Struggle, it has a different meaning, that he said that the Britisher should go and there should be a independence and Indian rule. But later on, the Swaraj means that is a self-rule, means every single person is capable of ruling on himself. So there should not be over-concentration of authority, but there should be decentralization. In fact, he has articulated he has favored the Panchayati Raj institutions, that every single person is capable of ruling on himself. So self-rule is about every single person is capable of taking the decisions, and therefore there is a need for democratic decentralization. And this democratic decentralization vision is articulated by the constitutional makers in Directive Principle of State Policy. Okay, Article 40. Okay, Article 40, it talks about the creation of Panchayati Raj institutions. And after, say, 50 years down the line, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. So 1992-93. So the realization of third tier of democracy, that is about the Panchayati Raj institution. So PRI institution is actually based upon his philosophy of Swaraj. And in fact, he has said that there should not be a concentration of authority in the hands of few. So he was completely for the decentralization. In fact, to an extent, he has said that some scholars term him as a moral anarchist. Anarchy मतलब क्या है कि statelessness, okay, state या फिर state की कम authority, but it's not. It becomes a prejudiced term again in contemporary time. But moral anarchist means why he was saying statelessness, because state itself was an organ of instrument of exploitation. There was a concentration of power. So he said that state is not going to really help in realization of potential of masses. What is required is that is there is a more decentralization and there is a minimal state we require. Okay, maximum power should be given to the grassroots and people should have power to rule themselves. That is a part of the Swaraj. Okay, so that has to be seen from point of view of not as a lawlessness, but as a point of view of empowerment of the people and from point of view of a Swaraj as a self-rule. Have you understood this? Okay, so self-rule is going to be one of the important aspect, that power should be decentralized. Principle of toleration, we have discussed already, that attitude of fairness, okay, towards the one with whom you have differences, like different opinion, different culture, religion, caste, etc., etc. So that is a principle of toleration or tolerance. In fact, he preached about this religious tolerance and cultural tolerance. The last point we cannot finish because it requires at least 15 minutes of discussion. That is constructive program, and rest of the things we will continue in the next class. Okay, that is Gandhi's Talisman. I think lecture is on. कुछ आया है क्या मेल आपको? वेंसडे है शायद, वेंसडे है ना? ठीक है.